Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the show, y'all. This last week has been really interesting, and I am in such a great, mental, emotional, I guess I'd say physical, because I'm feeling better because I was sick for a week, and I'm not 100% better, but listen, a week ago,
at the time of this recording,
man, your girl was struggling, you know what I mean? And so, one of the biggest, I'd say, areas of freedom that I have gained in this last week, you feel me? This episode might be short, but I really, really pray that this nugget that I'm about to drop on y'all heads or in your ears, I guess, really, really blesses you. And if it's an area you struggle in, that you really, really just find freedom in this area. So as I told y'all, I was reading this book, Soul Care. I actually just finished it.
At the time of this recording.
Man, shout out to 12 Cal. But I just finished it, and chapter 6 was about, I don't even remember. Hold on. Let me pull it out, you feel me, and go to what that principle is, because I think it's so important for me to say it. And, sometimes when things just come as they come, maybe pause. I don't be having stuff prepared. Overcoming fears, right? Now, a lot of us have different fears, some of us more than others. And as I was reading that chapter, I don't really have fears like that. I do get maybe anxious or whatever, you know what I mean? But as I was just thinking about what all of those fears are related to, the big fear that I realize I have is the fear of being insignificant to the people around me, right? And I was able to, when I got triggered in that, because I happened to, of course, get triggered in that as I'm going through this and the Lord's revealing stuff to me or whatever, I realized that, the biggest lie that I believe, and I could see why I will believe that lie, that I'm insignificant, because why would I feel like I'm significant if my bio dad wanted nothing to do with me? You know what I mean? And be that not true, that it could not be that wasn't really that he didn't want to. It could be that he didn't know how to. I've learned a lot about him since his death to learn a lot about the stuff he struggled with. Nevertheless, you weren't around. So what that communicated to me is that I wasn't significant enough for you to be around from a young age, right? So here's the thing. I am significant because God says I am significant. I am significant because he died on the cross for my sins. I am significant because he relentlessly pursues relationship with me. I am significant because he said I am, and he doesn't pursue a relationship with me for me to do anything or be any certain way. But the beautiful thing about it is that my continued growth in my relationship with him, I get benefits from that, right? I get more freedom, I get more healing, and then it makes me free enough to do all the things that I want to do or feel like I should do or whatever. And it's all for my good, right? And so in this past week, as I've really wrestled with why is it that I feel insignificant, one of the most practical things that I have done ever since I like got that revelation that insignificance is a huge fear of mine. So once I got that revelation and I'm like, okay, the lie is that I'm insignificant, right? What is the truth? The truth is that I'm significant for the reasons that I just mentioned, all summing up to because God said I'm significant, right? And if my identity is in him, right, and I know that what he says about me is true, I am significant. So one of the things that I have literally been doing out loud is when it has rose up in my spirit, you feel me? The lie that I am insignificant, I have told myself out loud, I am significant. Sometimes I have said it like multiple times in a row. Sometimes I have taken a song and remixed it to sing over myself that I am significant. But I say all that to say that, man, you have to know the truth about yourself, number one, because I can only speak that to myself because I know the truth. If I'm someone who has a relationship with God and I believe that what he says about me is true, then I know that if he says I am significant, then that's the truth, right? So you have to know the truth, right? And then you have to combat the lies. So the lie was that I am insignificant. You have to combat the lies with the truth. And I'm telling y'all, like, I have just had my joy. And there's, other things that I learned, like while reading that book and other freedom that I got. It is such a good book, Soul Care. But y'all, like, my joy has returned to me in a way that I forgot. And actually, to be honest, I don't even know if I ever had this level of joy before because I didn't have this level of freedom before. But man, the freedom that I have received and the joy that has just returned to me, man, it has been just so amazing. And grief really put me in such a dark space, a space that I had no point of reference for ever having gone through. And, here's the thing. I know grief is a roller coaster, so I will have days or moments or whatever where I may struggle. I know that. But the hole that I was in, that was different. And there were other things that were going on, but y'all, just the freedom and the joy and the peace that I have, it's like I never want to return to that space ever again. And that means whatever I got to do to fight for freedom for myself, because ultimately that's what it is. And there has been so many times in my life when I would like be triggered about whatever and then kind of like try to not deal with the emotion that I was feeling and either numb it or escape from it or whatever. And that was cool. Not really, but that was something I engaged in for, different seasons of life back in the day. But like, man, I'm just at this point where it's like, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good," right? And it's like, once you experience something that's really good, like freedom, that's kind of what I'm making the comparison or whatever. But freedom comes from my relationship with him and the revelations that I get and just sitting in his presence. Like, I'm telling y'all, when I was reading this book, I would be by myself reading it, going through the like journal prompts and the pause and reflect stuff like by myself. I wasn't with anybody, because one of the things he says in the book is, because he's somebody who like goes and prays with people and stuff, but he's like, I'm not the one that's doing it. And this is true of anyone, like pastor, whatever. It's never about that person. It's always about what God is doing through that person. And one of the things he said is that true freedom and healing and all of that is going to come in the presence of the Lord. Like, somebody may pray and help you usher in the presence of the Lord, but it's not that person praying that is giving you freedom. It's what God does with that person's prayers that is giving you freedom. And so as I was going through this book, like I said, I was by myself reading it either in the morning, usually, or at night sometimes. And man, I'm just, And so I just have such excitement for the future, not because of anything has changed as far as any of my circumstances or like I know this is going to happen or whatever, just because who I am has changed, and getting to experience life and, you know, the relationships I have and just all this stuff as this version of me, a version of me that she's new to me, right? Because like I said, I've never had this level of freedom before. So y'all, this has been really such a great week. And the beautiful thing about it is, like, it's almost like getting sick was a blessing because it forced me to slow down and really just have more time with the Lord. Because like last Friday when I was like for real sick, I didn't go anywhere. And so I was just home all day. Like I recorded, and I think that's the only, if you want to say, productive thing that I did. And so I just have had a lot of time in this past week with the Lord because I was sick, and it's such a blessing, right? And then like yesterday was Janae's birthday, and we celebrated that. And then like, okay. Come on, get the words together. I also got my hair done yesterday. And what's interesting about that is usually I get my hair done once a month, but because of various different, it doesn't even matter. My hair appointment got pushed back to where basically I went 2 months instead of 1. Now, what's significant about that is I've always been the kind of person that like when I change my hair, like when it actually looks different, like sometimes I'll get the same style over, but just get it, you know, brand new. But this time I changed it and got a shorter style. And it's always significant that when I have some like noticeable breakthrough or freedom or whatever, and then I change my hair, it's like then I see myself differently, which just helps to imprint in my mind even that much more that I'm different. That's why you'll hear that sometimes like after a woman goes through a breakup or has some like major life change, sometimes they'll cut their hair or whatever. Like what that does, at least in my opinion, is it kind of changes something in your psyche to where it's like you are physically seeing what's different in yourself. It's like the external change helps you to more so, I don't want to say embrace, but I guess like basically, what am I trying to say? Oh, the external change and seeing yourself differently really helps to just lock in, we'll just say that, the internal work that you've already done. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that has been this past week. By the time this drops, Zaire will have already turned 1. His birthday is Monday. And it is so wild that he is like been here almost a year. Like it's so wild watching him grow up, and he's just so much more like has so much more energy now, and I'm surprised he's not walking yet. He's on his way though, basically, you know what I mean? So yeah, that is what I have for y'all this week. As always, make sure you take care of yourself, you know, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Be healthy in your relationships. Thank you for listening. I love y'all so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for